Alright guys, well, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today. For this one, we are going to do another little out and about video. I'm in London, in England this time, and we're going to have a little look at this place, the Mikkeller Brewpub. So yeah, let's do as we always do. We'll go in, we'll have a look around, we'll have a taste of some of the beers, and if they've got some food, we'll try some. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. Catch you in just a second. Alright guys, there you are. You can see the outside, there's a nice wee outside bit. So yeah, this area of London is called Exmouth Market, and it's quite nice actually. We got the train to Farrington and we walked up this way through the kind of market foods and things just to get up here. But this is quite a nice wee place. It is pretty much just a pub with the brew kit up the back, which is kind of cool. So yeah, we'll have a closer look at the tap list in a minute. They've got slushies as well, which is good. Harry and I have just filmed our first tasting, but yeah, this, as you can see at the back, is where the brewers are working, which is quite nice. They're just about to get started on a brew apparently. So yeah, we'll see you guys with another beer review in just a second. This is the one you've just seen, the Market Lager. Alright guys, well, time for our first tasting then here at Mikkeller Brewpub London. So the beer we've gone for first is called Market Hellas, because you know, it always makes sense to start with a nice lager. Comes in at 5.2% ABV and it's brewed on the kit you can see behind us. So yeah, appearance then, as you can see and as you'd expect, nice little bit of an amber tint to it. It's almost the same colour as like a Märzen really, this one, isn't it? It's actually one of the kind of darker Hellas beers you're going to come across. Steady stream of bubbles going up the top. When it poured, it had about a quarter finger of a frothy, I would have said, that's more of like a cream ivory colour, isn't it? Yeah. Alright, do you want to go with the aroma?
Yes, go in. It's slightly sweet on the nose, isn't it?
Oh yeah. It is a wee bit more Märzen like.
Yeah. Sweet kind of like honey note.
Oh yeah, yeah. A little bit of honey, a little bit of like McVitie's digestive. Yeah. It's got that sort of, it actually has a wee bit of like a wholemeal bread. Like there's a wee bit of that wholemeal bread sort of thing.
Yeah. Nothing about it.
A little bit, yeah. There's a wee touch of that. Oh, you know what it smells like? Cheerios.
Yeah.
It actually smells like Cheerios cereal.
It really does. A little bit of that. It's not golden grams as well.
I never had that actually.
That's the milk before.
Yeah, you gave me for
Milk and pagans walk. Stop.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely. A wee bit of like, it really, to me this really, it reminds me of Cheerios for sure. Yeah. As Harry said, a wee bit of like a honey thing, a bit of McVitie's digestive biscuit, a wholemeal brown bread. It's got a wee bit of like a crackery thing at the very back of the nose as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does remind me more of like a Märzen than a Hellas, to be honest with you. Hoppy side of things? Noble.
Yeah.
Yeah, a wee bit of an earthy thing. I get a little touch of herbal out of this, but mainly like a wet grass. Yeah, wet grassiness for sure. Fruity side of things, it's put my nose in it there. I think it's a fairly standard, you know, sultana pear type thing, isn't it? Yeah, sultana pear. Yeah. Alright, let's dive into this then. So Market Hellas, our first beer from Mikkeller Brewpub London, Slange, Skål. Oh, that's nice. I'll say straight away.
Definitely more like us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This is more Märzen. It's, you know, a Hellas. Normally with a Hellas, you're not going to get this level of sweetness out of it. I think that's absolutely fair to say.
Yeah.
This is really more like a Märzen.
Yeah.
It's not quite as light and crisp, it's a bit more oily as well. That's the other thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
The question should always be whether it's a good beer, and I think it is. It's a nice lager. It is. They had two lagers on tap, but actually one of them was called Space Lager, which was Galaxy hopped. I had a little taste of that. It was quite nice, but yeah, we decided to go with this one. But this is nice. As I say, good beer, just more immersive.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Malt base then, what do you reckon about the flavour?
Pale malt to start with. Some base malt. I think there's a little bit of like Munich malt inside of it, just to give you that little touch of extra darkness on it.
Yeah.
So Carapilsen.
It has to me, it almost has a wee bit of Maris Otter. It has a wee bit of that oil.
It does have that kind of like.
It has got that wee bit of.
biscuity note.
Yeah. That'd be quite
I mean, that's
interesting.
good cheap, but behind me, I can see what the malt is.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's good.
No.
That's a bad thing.
The environment's from Bamberg, isn't it?
Pills malt.
Pilsner malt.
Extra.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, no, malt bases. Yeah, bread crust, a little bit of cracker, wholemeal bread, and it's actually, the sweetness I think in the middle of the tongue is actually, it's quite oily. It's like, if you imagine if McVitie's digestive biscuits were broken down into an oil, it would be like that.
Yeah.
It has got a wee touch of booziness to it as well, but you always kind of get that from this.
Yeah, it always has that little bit of thing. I suppose it's 5.2%, but it's not, you know.
It's not as strong as some of the Mercedes you'll come across.
Weakest beer we've had today.
Yeah, Harry had a train beer that he didn't drink, and he drank it before we left the hotel. So
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah, I think maybe other than the fact the breadiness gets a bit more grainy toward the back of the palate, I don't think we need to say anything else about the malty side of things. Hoppy part of the beer, do you reckon? The green component?
Definitely herbal. Definitely herbal, a little bit grassy.
Yeah.
That kind of earthiness I was picking up before, it's still there, but not quite as much.
Not as prominent, yeah.
It's definitely earthy.
Yeah, so it's quite herbal, I think, until you reach the kind of front corners of your palate. Then it's a bit floral, and then it's wet and grassy on the front curve of the tongue. Yeah. Fruity side of this beer for me is quite oily.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, it dries out. You get a sultana type note out of it later, but I think it's quite like peary. I think it's very peary when you have the liquid on your tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not an awful lot of fruitiness, but it's not really going to providing too much of that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's more. It's more. This is really like an oily Märzen. This one. As I say, it's a good beer, but I just don't find it too hellish-like. It's more Märzen-like. But mouthfeel wise, then for a lager beer, I think it's one of the bigger bodied lagers you're going to come across. I think overall you're talking bottom end to mid bodied. Carbonation has a bit of Christmas to it, in fairness.
Yeah.
Oily mouthfeel for sure.
Yeah.
IBUs, what do you reckon?
Never made of cheese, but I'd say it's quite like low 15.
Have you seen the IBU count?
No. It says 0 on there.
Oh, right.
Still lies, because I just don't know.
Yeah, no, I think this is 15 or 20,
It does have a little bit of a back end, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'd be keen to say 20 because I think it gets drier the further you go into the aftertaste. So I think about 20 IBUs. Malt base, as we said, is quite smooth, a bit oily, and then it's got some oily, fruity characters as well. But yeah, that is the end of your first tasting then. This is the Market Helles 5.2% lager beer. More like a Märzen, but nice beer.
Yeah, that's definitely good.
Alright, let's see what we're going to do for you next. Catch you guys in just a second. Alright guys, so let's have a little look at what they have on tap here first. So as you can see, the first couple of beers are not the Brewpub's beers. So they've got Hidden Pudding, a sour beer from Three Hills on the first ones, Little Earth Project, Hedgerow Blend. That's an English brewery that I still need to try. They do some very nice sours apparently. They have the Mikkeller Castle Black. That one I believe comes from Mikkeller San Diego. Then they've got Cloudwater Volley, which is a West Coast IPA. But all of the other ones pretty much are their own beers. So you can see Space Lager, Galaxy Hop Lager, the Mikkeller Peter Pale and Mary. So that's not brewed here, but that is a regular Mikkeller. The Background Music Session IPA, Market Helles, which you've seen us review already. The High Noon West Coast IPA, which I'm sure you'll see in the video because we do enjoy a good West Coast IPA. Secret Menu, Hazy Session IPA. The Sign Here Please, a Hazy Pale Ale. Juice Loosener, another Hazy American Pale Ale. Luxury Fries, triple IPA. I'm sure that Harry is going to convince me to have one of these a bit later. The Schiffelhofer Radler, which, yeah, quite a well-known beer, that. The Democracy Manifest, another hazy pale ale. Then when you go up here, they have the All Day Haze, a double hazy IPA. The Ich Bin Raspberry, which is another well-known Mikkeller one. The kind of fruit sour, Berliner Weisse, of course. The Extra Sort Salt Beer, which is a blackcurrant and licorice goza. The Centurion Hazy Spelt IPA, which certainly has my interest. And they've also got the Bay Window, which is a Baltic porter. So yeah, 13 of their own beers on tap in total, which is quite impressive actually. So there you are. That is the tap list here in very early July 2022 at Mikkeller Brewpub London. Very nice. Alright guys, well, time for beer number 2 then here at Mikkeller Brewpub in London. So, the one that we've gone for this time is the Centurion. It comes in at 6.5% ABV. It's a collaboration with the wonderful War Pigs from the Meatpacking District in Copenhagen, and they're describing this one as a hazy spelt IPA. So, Harry, as a brewer, can you tell us about spelt?
Never used it. It is a variation of wheat.
Yeah.
An old format of wheat.
Yeah, very, very old German wheat, if I remember rightly. So yeah, this should be quite interesting. This just caught my eye, 1 because of the spell, 2 because of the War Pigs collaboration. But yeah, this one is hopped with Citra, Talus and Idaho 7, Adam's favourite hop. Ah, yes.
And one of my favourite hops.
Yeah, and I kind of like all 3 of these, to be honest. So yeah, Talus gives you that lovely big kind of pink grapefruity note from what I remember. It gives you that kind of coconut
tangerine, kind of like rose water.
Yeah, it's got that kind of coat for me. Yeah, pink grapefruit, that kind of slightly spicy, coconutty kind of thing underneath. Nice, but yeah, all American hops, about 14% alpha, is that I think normally. Yeah,
all around that.
Yeah, because for me, Citra, big mango, big kind of lemon limey note, and then, yeah, Idaho 7 is very soft, tropical kind of things. But yeah, anyway, as you'd expect from a hazy IPA, lovely kind of bright sort of mango juice colour. This one, I would say, always like comparing the New England hazy IPAs to different fruit juices because that's just what they remind me of. When it poured, about a half finger of a frothy, I would say cream coloured head. Not a lot of visible carbonation in this one, whereas 6.5% although it has a fairly impressive level of neck.
The spelt really helped that a fair bit as well.
Yeah, the spelt's going to thicken the beer up because, yeah, remember with these beers, the haze depends on the oak content, wheat content, and the yeast to a little bit as well, yeah. So, yeah, do you want to do the aroma? First thoughts on the aroma?
You could definitely get that. I spot that Talus mark, but then the Citra kind of sits in a little bit of town there, like 7 with a little bit of a light kind of a...
Yeah. I mean, first impressions for me, you can smell, this one for me has that almost slightly porridgey thing that you get from a very, very fresh New England IPA. But I think the other thing is the guys are brewing over there, so you do have this kind of wet, mashy sort of thing in your nose anyway, and I think that definitely does affect us a little bit.
But yeah, definitely get citrus, like fresh floral, honeydew, melon, and I want to say a little bit of the grapefruity note.
Oh yeah. I mean, for me, just on the wider perspective of this is a really soft, juicy New England IPA, and it's kind of balanced, I think, between the barley malt and the oats. But the wheat, the thing with spelt is always more like a thickening agent. I think you get spelt more in the taste than you do in the aroma, in my experience. So yeah, I mean, the aroma for me is a lot of white bread, slightly dry in the white bread, bit of bread crust, but you do get a little bit of the oaty creaminess out of this too. And it's not overly sweet in its malt base. It's not overly, you don't even get, I don't even get a little bit of the Werther's original type thing. No, not really. It is more kind of bready than anything. Green component, I'd say grassy. There's a bit of floral character in there, but it's mainly quite a bright grassy note you're getting out of this, I think.
I'm definitely, the rose is coming through more and more.
Yeah.
Taking that more floral note from the task.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Idaho 7 and Citra are kind of giving you the base. You get that juicy mango, then you get the soft like apricots, papayas, I think, from the Idaho 7.
Yeah.
And then the talus kind of sits on top. I think the talus is giving you this sort of coconutty thing. I think I get a little bit of the coconutty thing from that, but you get the sharper pink grapefruit at the back, but that takes a back seat. And I see what you're saying about the kind of, it really does have this kind of bright like petal, flowery sort of thing. It's a little bit like an almost hibiscusy type aroma. It smells lovely though. I mean, fruity wise, it's as I say, it's a very soft, juicy IPA. You were saying watermelon as well. Yeah. I can see that. I think we should try this. So Centurion 6.5% hazy spelt IPA. Slange, skål. That's nice.
So you got the old tangerine. Tangerine, rose water comes a bit higher.
And honestly, I actually don't. This is interesting. Always, different people get different fruits. Because for me, I'm really getting the Idaho 7 out of this.
Yeah.
I think the Idaho 7 and the aftertaste is the one that really comes out. Are those soft tropical notes? But you also get the kind of coconutty thing from the talus too. Yeah. But it's a lovely beer. That is very good. Yeah. So that is really, really nice actually. I can't think the last time when the last time I had an IPA from Mikkeller was. I really don't know.
Ages.
Yeah, no, I've not had one for a long time either.
Brewpub. In fact, I have had a Brewpub here. It would have been served caps, Mikkeller, the other bar in London. Plus maybe 4 biscuits.
Okay. This is if you just think of this as a regular New England IPA, it's very, very good. I like this actually. Malt base. What do you reckon about the malt base?
Pale extra pale on the colour. Pale malt. Some obviously salt. The wheatiness isn't like dominant at all.
It's very soft wheatiness actually. Yeah. What I notice is like the base of the middle of the palate. It's like bread crust, Jacob's cream cracker. You get the whole bread, and you sort of get the slightly thicker, drier thing from the spelt at the back of the palate. So it's definitely more. You can feel the wheat in there.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the palate, maybe down the middle kind of line, the middle trench of your tongue, you get a bit of that oaty softness and the slight sweetness you can get from the oats. But this is it's not a sweet New England IPA. It's very well balanced, but it's like a more old school, 2015, 2016 bready type New England. I think that's a good way to do it. This reminds me of Narangi, Amazing Haze. I don't know what the equivalents would be in England.
I've had Amazing Haze, but it's been a while.
It's kind of like these kind of old school ones, Scandinavian ones, but I like it. Green component.
We'll probably just come off the back of your. It's obviously quite floral from
Floral on the sides of the palate for sure.
Light again, lightly light grass, but it is dominated by the kind of fruitier notes.
Yeah, I mean the front curve of the palate is very quite a bright grassy note actually, a little bit zesty. Then on the front third of your palate, obviously this is where you get the big fruity notes. For me, as I said earlier, the fruity base, it's the Idaho 7. So further back on the palate, you've got the juicy mango, and as you come further forward, you get a bit of apricot, that bit of papaya, definitely some pineapple too.
Yeah.
And then I think you can feel that bit of sharper grapefruity, the pink grapefruit from the talus at the back. and then you get more of the coconut coming out into the aftertaste.
Yeah, definitely with that kind of like spicy, kind of prickly, kind of tangerine notes as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
It does, in the flavour, yeah, I wasn't picking up so much in the aroma, but in the flavour it definitely has that wee bit of an orangey character for sure. And I see what you're saying about the kind of rose watery thing too. It has this little bit of, it reminds me, I've had some hibiscus beers before and it really reminds me of that, to be honest with you. But that's a nice new, it's a nice New England this, it is very, very nice. And it shows you the spelt, it gives you that just slightly grainier, wheaty quality from the spelt too. Yeah, mouthfeel wise, mid-bodied, smooth carbonation, does have a fair bit of thickness for a New England IPA. I think this is at most 30. I think this is a fairly standard 20 to 30 IBU New England.
Yeah, I'd go low end of that.
Yeah, I was leaning towards 20 to be honest. Yeah.
Tends to be always low with New Englands.
Yeah.
This I think with London's more similar to what I brew, but it tends to be quite a little bit drier. So,
yeah. Hard water in London.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. What you want for brewing is soft water, of course, but yeah. But yeah, for me, as I said, this is quite a malt base is quite bready and smooth in this rather than being sweet. Lovely, juicy, fruity notes. Yeah, I think that's a solid beer, this one. So yeah, well done to both Warpigs and Mikkeller London for this. So yeah, that's the Centurion Hazy Spelt IPA at 6.5% ABV. We're going to go to the West Coast in a little minute, so catch you with that. Alright guys, tasting number 3 then here at Mikkeller Brewpub. So as promised, we are going to the opposite coast of the US. So this beer is called High Noon. It comes in at 6.3% ABV, and this is a West Coast IPA with Citra Cryo and Comet. Yeah. So you did a little bit of research on Comet.
Yes, the Comet is apparently quite hard to find out here. Well, I do remember it being quite hard to find anyway. I think you can get it from hop merchants at Charles Farms. You can get it from them. I've seen it from there, but again, it's not overly used too much. But it does give you kind of great fruity notes, or it can be used as a bittering hop as well. So I wonder if it is used as a bittering hop, and then the other hops inside of it, Citra Cryo and standard Citra as well. So I reckon those are probably just used as lights inside of it.
Yeah, so this should be quite interesting. The thing I'm interested with West Coast IPAs these days is whether it's going to be a more old school bitter West Coast IPA, you can usually tell from the aroma, or whether it's going to be one of these more modern takes on the West Coast IPA, which doesn't have the bitterness. Harry's already had a sniff, so yeah. But anyway, appearance wise, as you can see, this one is one of the more yellowy coloured ones you're going to get. The beer when it came out had a half finger frothy cream coloured head. You can see this one has a little bit of a natural haze to it, as you're going to get from a Brewpub beer. Just a little bit of carbonation visible, but yeah, it looks pretty nice. Aroma wise then, that's a modern West Coast IPA. Modern West Coast IPA. Yeah.
You rarely ever get, that's why when we had the Baron beer the other day, which is red IPA, and I thought that would be a good example of how we saw red IPAs have changed.
Yeah, but they put oat and wheat in it.
Yeah. Exactly, it wasn't an old school red IPA.
Yeah,
Bring back red IPA.
Yeah, this is the thing. I don't know, it's just me. If you're going to do a West Coast IPA, early edition hops, give the thing at least 60, 70 IBUs.
Yeah. Like, it's so bitter that people can't taste anything ever again.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is a West Coast IPA is supposed to have that big,
That's like how they always were.
Yeah, it's supposed to have that big sort of Chinook, Columbus sort of thing to it.
I always used to use Columbus as a bittering when I used the West Coast IPA years ago, and it was always Columbus as well was 16% alcohol, 16.3 or something. And I used to put like a smaller kipper next, used to put like 100 grams in, and that was giving me at least like 70 IBU on everything.
Yeah, it was just, it's just the thing, but you can smell from this straight away. This is one of these late edition dry hopping West Coast IPAs. They can be nice enough beers, but it's just, I don't know, I'm a bit of a traditionalist that way with the West Coast IPAs. Give them the bitterness. Give them the bitterness. So yeah, straight away with this one though, it's a little bit of a, for me, you've got that typical West Coast back with a little bit of bread crust, white bread, biscuit. It's not the most caramelly of.
No, it's quite light as well for a West Coast. Typically, I always remember a West Coast having a little bit of crystal inside, a little touch of crystal.
Yeah, or in the American ones you'd have two-row.
Yeah.
So the crystal was the German equivalent of two-row in some ways, I guess you could say. So yeah, the old school West Coast IPAs were a bit more ambery than this, and a bit more caramelly. And
yeah, it's definitely highly fragrant as well.
Yeah.
Floral.
Yeah, I mean, this one for me, it's bready, biscuity, little bit of cracker, but obviously nowhere near as thick in things as the New England, the spelt hazy IPA we've just had. Anything else we should say about the malt base?
Not too much.
No?
Hoppy wise, it definitely takes the forefront.
Yeah, the hoppy side is pushing out this one. Green component I think is grassy and wet. A bit floral underneath. You know what the aroma this really reminds me of though is like Parma violets.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. It's got this very sort of candied, fruity note to it. And that comes from the yeast because you get this in some of the fierce beer.
It's also sounding notes compared to the New England we had just then. The ABV of this is so good.
Yeah.
Which is weird for a West Coast IPA.
Because West Coast were always more boozy, weren't
You'd
they?
always know from it, so you always know from a mile.
Yeah. But that's the thing, alcohol smells like caramel as well, and this one isn't the most caramelly of the West Coast IPAs. But I mean, when I think about Mikkeller and West Coast IPAs, Green Gold, 1000 IBU, things like
that was a beer.
1000 IBU was an awesome beer, it really was. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say about the green side of things. There's a bit of grass in there, it's got a bit of floral character, which I'm assuming comes from the Comet, but Citra is obviously capable. What do you reckon about the fruits?
It's just like a lemon lime,
Yeah.
a bit of grapefruit again.
I mean, for me,
Melony note.
yeah, I think for me it shows the kind of thing with Citra. Citra's always going to give you a bit of lemon lime.
Yeah.
At the same time, I get that kind of mango-y, passion fruity thing behind it as well. Anything else?
Not too much more. Obviously, just like melon though, I get it quite a lot now.
See, I get a little bit. It's more like gooseberry to me. I think.
No, there is that.
Yeah. The Citra, in a way, this is the thing. Citra is a very good example to show you how hops behave with different malt bases. Because in a West Coast, Citra will give you this kind of gooseberry, lychee, melony sort of thing. But if you put it in New England, it's all about the mango and that lemon lime.
Confused West Coast IPA with this.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we should taste this now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
High Noon West Coast IPA 6.3 was it?
Yeah.
6.3. Sludge it. It's a nice beer, but it's just not old school West Coast.
No, it's definitely new school. It tastes like a lot of London brewery pale ales. Some people the night when I had that. You haven't tried too many, but when I had that London Field pale ale.
Oh yeah.
I was surprised, really surprised by that. How good that was, but when you've had some time of drinking lots of like kind of pale ales and stuff that they kind of sell to generic London pubs, there is like a bit of a generic taste, and it tastes a little bit like that, with a little bit more potency, a little bit more ABV.
I can see that, yeah. I mean, this one for me, in honesty, when I compare this to the old West Coast beers that you used to get from Mikkeller, it's kind of forgettable.
Yeah.
Actually, it doesn't stand out in any way, to be honest with you. And that's not to say it's like a bad beer, but it's just, that New England that we had a minute ago,
Brilliant.
was really good.
Yeah.
But this is just kind of, I don't know, you can get so much more out of West Coast IPA if you put a bit of caramel in it, you take the alcohol up to maybe 7%, you put a bit of bitterness in it, you give it a few more different hops,
Yeah.
you can get so much more out of a West Coast IPA. It's almost like the West Coast IPA has been a victim of the haze craze
Yeah.
in some ways, and it has been, it really has been. But I miss these big, bitter, oily, caramelly ones, and this is one that's quite obviously been done for the new generation of craft beer drinker, I guess we can say.
suggested tasting notes are piney, bitter, and resinous, which I get a bit of a resinous note, but not like
It's not piney. No way. No.
it's not overly bitter. It's not dank compared to others. It's a little touch of it, but not overly.
Yeah, I mean, in the aftertaste, you do get a little bit of a kind of florally, spicy, piney thing. I think you get a bit of pine in the aftertaste for sure. But yeah, it does show you a little bit of bitterness in the aftertaste. But you also have to remember with these, your palate is constantly changing, so that's something I always try to bear in mind. But yeah, it's not an old school West Coast IPA, this one for sure. It is more like a slightly boozier West Coast pale ale.
Yes.
Something
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
Yeah, so malty backbone for me, bit of bread crust, cracker, light kind of crisp white bread, middle of the palate, a bit of caramel, but little, not caramel, sorry, but more of that McVitie's digestive oily biscuit thing. Boozy though.
Yeah, it is boozy.
This beer feels quite boozy.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Don't think so.
Let's go with green component then.
Grassy, a little bit of a spicy note, but like more kind of hoppiness. Slightly herbal. I think that's again kind of hop related. More kind of fruity. It's really good for the hops, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I do get on the front, I do get a teeny bit of that resinous sort of thing. It gets a bit drier in the aftertaste. Oily, grassy note, I think, on the front. But yeah, like Harry's saying, it's more about the fruity side.
Yeah.
What do you reckon for the fruits then?
Like, well, melon, mango, but not like in your face. It's just quite light, I'd say, with both of them. A little bit of lemon limey notes. Slight orangey note. Yeah, grapefruit as well. So.
Yeah, I get the grapefruit at the back of that front third of the palate as you come forward. It's a bit more passion fruity. I'm not getting so much of the mango that I would normally get from Citra. But yeah, into the front half, it's the lemon limey thing, and I get a bit of the gooseberry underneath as well. I will say this beer is growing on me a little bit the more I drink of it. It grows on, but I've always got this thing with West Coast IPAs, you know, you always think Sierra Nevada Torpedo, Pliny the Elder. You want that more biscuity sort of thing, or that big oily caramelly type.
The old Sculpin for a ballast point as well.
Sculpin, yeah. That was a good one. Or even Dale's Pale Ale, take that up a little bit. Yeah. So it is growing on me, but it's just not old school.
Yeah.
Mouthfeel wise, mid-bodied, smooth carbonation, a bit oily. IBUs, I think this is 50, maybe 60 at the most. Malt base, smooth, a little bit sweet, and the fruits oily. Yeah. That's that. So yeah, it's grown on me. But as I say, it's not an old school West Coast IPA, this one.
It shouldn't grow on you.
It's not West Coast. It's not an old West Coast, this one. It is more like a kind of boozy West Coast pale. If you go back to 2010, 2011, 12 when we were getting into beer, this is more like what you'd expect from a pale ale back then. So yeah, cool to try it, but as I say, I want more from it. I want more caramel, I want more bitterness from a West Coast IPA. So yeah, let's leave it at that for tasting number 3. There you go, nearly forgot. Catch you guys in a second. Cheers. Alright guys, so just a little look at the brew kit here at the back of the Brewpub. So the boiling kettle is 750 litres, but their fermentation tanks are apparently 1,500. So yeah, I think those are in another room, of course. But yeah, it's, pretty much as brewpubby as you can get. You can see they've got some Vireman malt there, and they've also got their upcoming releases, which are conditioning now. So they've got High Noon West Coast IPA, they have the Balhalla collaboration, the Hoppy Belgian Pale, and then the Sudden Death collaboration, the Mango Papaya, Lychee and Vanilla Sour. Sounds quite interesting. But yeah, that is your little brew kit here at Mikkeller Brewpub in London. Alright guys, well, tasting at number 4 of 5 here at Mikkeller Brewpub in London. So yeah, this one is a beer that I think Harry should introduce. It is 1:30. It is definitely time for triple IPA. Also known as a session ale. So yeah, absolute session ale. Triple IPA with hops are
Citra Cryo, Galaxy and Strata, and it's a collaboration beer between Mikkeller Brewpub here and Willibald Farm Brewery, based out of Ayr. Not the Scottish one.
Yeah, the Scottish one. The Canadian one.
The one in Untappd.
Yeah, alright, interesting. A brewery I've never heard of actually, but I guess if this is the kind of beer they're brewing, one that I will need to look up at some stage.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The other thing is, the guys behind the bar told us this is the Mikkeller Brewpub London's best rated beer ever. So that was the main reason why we kind of felt we had to try this one. So, as you can see with this is, what would you say, haze for days?
Murky for months.
Murky for months.
Unclear for years.
Unclear for years, yeah, there you go. So, that is potentially the murkiest of New England's I've ever seen.
It's up there.
It's up there, yeah. But when it poured, it had a half finger of a frothy, cream coloured head. Colour-wise, I'd say this one is more akin to like pineapple juice or something like that. A little bit lighter than the other one. But yeah, if I put my fingers behind that, you can see this beer. It's almost at 100% opacity, I think. No real visible carbonation at all. Yeah, and again, as we said earlier, haze level depends on oak content, wheat content, yeast. There is no kind of real rule about going up the alcohol scale, but for this one, what percentage is this again? This is 10% ABV. Even when I think about 10% New England, this is pretty hazy. I have had these before. I think the biggest one I've had is probably about 12 or something, but this is pretty damn hazy for a 10%. As a brewer, would you agree?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I have to say as well, in general, triple IPAs, I'm not a big fan of them. I tend to prefer doubles, and triples is like that one step beyond. It's like, I tend to joke about them saying they're the special brew of craft beer market.
Yeah, I mean,
tend to be a little bit.
A triple West Coast, I think the West Coast works better at the higher ABVs than New England does.
Yeah.
So yeah, triple New Englands and quadruple New Englands, as we're getting these days, are not they're not my favourite. I'll try them, but having a big 440 can of these is just insanity to me. It's just crazy. But yeah, I think a roll of time, eh? See, in fairness,
It's quite light.
it doesn't smell like a triple.
No, it's got like a melony note.
Yeah.
A light floral. A bit of a tangerine note as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I was smelling this blend, I would never guess this was a triple.
No.
I would think it was a double probably, but it doesn't smell out of place compared to a double. It's not. I mean, I get a good bit of wheaty bitiness in the back of the nose. You definitely get the kind of white bready, pale malty sort of thing. I don't think this is too oaty though. This is more like a wet white bread.
Yeah.
Have you got the malt base there as well?
No.
So we should say as well, this one is Citra Cryo, Galaxy and Strata. Harry's got the hop list down there. All hops we know quite well, so it's 2/3 American, 1/3 Australian. Citra, 14% alpha acid, mango, lemon, lime. Galaxy, quite strong passion fruit in my experience, bit of pineapple, Australian 14%. Strata is that big kind of pink grapefruit thing, and that's about 14 as well, I think, if I remember right. Yeah. So we know these hops quite well, but I don't think there's anything else we need to say about them all. No. Yeah, wet white bread crust, bit of wheaty bitiness.
Yeah.
It's actually, this is an interesting thing about New England is when you go to the high ABVs, I don't find they're as fragrant as the smaller ones.
No, they tend to kind of get hidden a little bit away by the more, obviously multi-note, but like caramel kind of note to it.
Yeah.
Alcohol kind of just hides it.
We should say that as well. This one isn't overly sweet for its percentage.
No.
You might expect more of that.
You might get that more in the taste, I think.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit hidden. There is a sweetness, like a kind of a light bit, you know what I mean? Kind of hidden in there.
Yeah.
But it's not as high as normal.
Exactly, yeah. No, I would say that. So on the green side of things, I would say quite light and grassy.
Yeah.
There is a bit of floral note there, but the green component again is not too pungent.
No, it's sitting there, but it's not. It's like light herbal, but it's quite
Yeah.
good.
What do you want to lead on the fruits?
Yeah. I get like again, real kind of honeydew melon.
Yeah.
The really ripe mango, overripe mango. It's like mango coffee. Reminds me of weirdly.
Oh, yeah.
Like kind of almondy note as well.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of sweetness, but not too much. Not compared to what I've had in the past.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that this is going to be one of these beers that differs quite a bit between aroma and flavour.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's actually very soft. You know, I get a lot of mango, a good little bit of. I do get the pineapple as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you get a wee bit of the passion fruit and the pink grapefruit from the strata. It has, if you take it in really deeply, you get that. But really, for me, mango, papayas, apricots, pineapples, it's quite soft, and I see the kind of watermelon-y thing you're saying as well. Yeah, really not. I find this weird with triple IPAs. They certainly aren't the most fragrant of beer styles, for sure. I think we should just try this. So, the name again?
It is
The Luxury Fries.
yes.
10% New England. Mikkeller Brewpub here in London. And what was it? Willibald Farm Brewery from Ayr, Ontario in Canada. Slàinte, Scott.
Should be.
Neat. It's quite nice actually.
Again, get that real overripe mango note.
Oh,
It really dominates. There's like a kind of like a piney, kind of sweet kind of piney finish to it as well.
it's almost a bit guava-like. It's almost gives you that green thing that you get from guava. I find guava is just like a green mango.
That's surprisingly good. Like I say, like I could have this sort of a thimble, a small amount of it like this, or even less. But you wouldn't. This is what always puts me off buying triple IPAs. Is when you buy in cans, it's always like a 440. Or
It's always a challenge, isn't it?
I'm like, I don't want that much of it. And then also that's why I don't buy them to review on the channel, because also I just do my reviews at home. And it's saying I've got to have a 440. I don't want that much. I just want a small amount.
Yeah,
I want,
exactly.
Like, a tiny amount.
Yeah, I mean, the only brewery that I would kind of do it with is maybe Steakberry. So I mean, because they have that series that's black in the hot flower, so I quite like that. But but I will say, when I think about, it reminds me of Broken Clouds. I don't know if you had that one from Overtone. It really reminds me of that. This is a very well done beer, and I think you can see, as a triple IPA, as I say, a style that I can enjoy little bits of, but not a big can. I think this is well done.
Yeah.
I think it is well done. Let's break it down though, eh? These reviews are getting longer and longer the drunker we get. But yeah, for me, malt base, very big oaty beer. This one,
Yeah.
very very big on the
There's an
sauce.
oak cream note about it. It reminds me of DDH Myler Daydream from the other half.
Yeah,
Kind
definitely.
of really creamy.
I actually need to review another half beer on the chat. I've done a few collaborations, but never one of their own. So you've got this lovely, white bread crust, teeny bit of cracker in there, but then a pale malt white bread. You can feel the wheat thickening this beer out. On the back third of the palate, a bit wheaty and bitey for sure.
Yeah.
And then on top of, in that middle third of the palate, you've got the nice oaty, creamy sort of thing. Not too sweet, but it definitely has like a little touch of that sweetness
Yeah,
to
a
it
little
for
bit
sure.
like a caramel note as well. Like that's more.
Yeah, there is a wee bit of that butter candy, Werther's original type thing in the middle of the palate with this, and I think that suits it. But it really is. It is one of the more oaty triples that I've had, rather than being one of the sweeter ones. Anything else you want to say about the malt base? All right, I think you leave with the green component then.
Again, I think it's quite nice. It's heavily dominated by the kind of thicker, kind of fruitier flavours, but I'd say there's a light kind of herbal touch kind of going around the back of the outskirts of your palate, light grassy. But then for me, it's really dominated by the spicy hoppiness and fruity hoppiness and spicy hoppiness.
Yeah. I think this thing with the triple IPA, you do have to use, with the New England, you have to use a little bit of early edition hop.
Yeah.
Because when you get at the back, you can feel it has this little bit of an almost resiny thing on the sides, then it's quite spicy and floral in the front corners of your palate. round the front curve of the tongue. I think it's a bit grassy and zesty, but you still feel a bit floral character there too.
Yeah, you always have, because there can be, to put that amount of ABV, you obviously have to have your malt base be quite strong to get that ABV, so you have to put a fair bit of bittering. So sure, to offset against that sweetness.
Yeah,
Very well.
so. Anything else for green corner? No. Fruity side then.
Overripe mango.
Yeah, guava. When you take the liquid in, guava, mango.
A little bit of a spiciness on the back there, mixed with a bit of alcohol, I suppose, as well.
I think you get a bit of that bright pink grapefruit at the back of that front third of your palate. The pink grapefruit from the strata as you come further forward, really ripe mango, almost a bit guava-like. And as you come forward, you get a wee bit of the kind of pineapple-y sort of thing from the. I think the pineapple's going to come from the galaxy in this one, is it? And then, there is a wee bit of that lemon-limey thing from the citron.
Yeah, it's not real taste. It's kind of like subdued against the other flavors.
Yeah. But it's a nice fruity combination. Yeah, bright pink grapefruit, bit of passion fruit, good big mango-y, guava type thing, and then a little bit of lemon lime from the citra too. But that's a very, very good beer. It's very nice. That's one of the better triple IPAs I've had on the New England side.
I think the last time I had a triple IPA might be one from Holly's Brewpub, and however, this wasn't the best. And this is much better.
Yeah, this is a lot better. This is manageable, I think. But a third pint, what's that, about 200 mils, something like that. Not far off 200 millilitres. Maybe about 190 millilitres, a third of a pint. I think that's pretty decent. So yeah, mouthfeel wise, full bodied.
Yeah, definitely.
Smooth carbonation.
Bit of an oiliness about it, but not too much.
Yeah, creamy and oily. And IBU wise, I think 40.
Yeah.
It's definitely a bit more than the standard 30, but 40 IBUs. Smooth malt base, lovely creaminess, but a bit of sweetness. And then a nice mix of the fruitiness, because of the high alcohol in this, it's a mix between fruity and juicy. Yeah, I think this is good. So yeah, that was the luxury luxury fries, a collaboration between Mikkeller Brewpub here in London and Willibald Farm Brewery in Ayr, Ontario, a brewery that I guess I will need to look up at some point. But yeah, that's tasting 405. Catch you in just a second. We can see our burgers are just arriving. So yeah, let's end this one just now. Sláinte, guys. Cheers. Alright guys, so between a New England Triple IPA and a Nordic Imperial Stout, you can't really go wrong with a bacon cheeseburger and fries, so let's do this. Alright guys, so a little bit of a food review for you on here now. So yeah, we have our burgers, so good. Mine doesn't have any of the onions on it, Harry's has all the onions, has everything. I just wanted the good stuff. So yeah, we get a free knife, there you go. So yeah, let's see the fries. Those are nice actually. Yeah. But the sauce.
I guess the mayonnaise on this background normally goes on.
I've just got the ketchup.
Almond. No.
Almond.
Fine.
Heinz mayonnaise, let's have a try. Alright. Don't really eat mayonnaise right now. Let's have a wee look at this burger then.
So I squish mine down.
So the sauce looks like some kind of béarnaise or something like that.
Mine goes down.
Yeah, Harry's just falling to bits.
Good stuff.
Oh, it's dripping a little bit. There we go. That's quite nice. Good. It would be better with a double, but yeah, can't complain. Quite a nice burger, I have to say.
Good.
Yeah, burger dressing's a little bit like a kind of béarnaise burger sauce mix, almost.
I mean, I've got so much more things inside mine.
But I'm going to say this is nice. It is good. It's kind of like baconaise or something like that, isn't it? Yeah, it's good. It's good, isn't it?
Really nice.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So I think that concludes our food review. Anything else you want to say? No. That's it. All right. Catch you guys on our 5th and final tasting then. We needed this after that triple IPA for sure. Definitely. All right, Imperial Stout coming up very shortly. So yeah guys, when you come down the stairs you can see lots of kegs, the fermenters are through there, and this is also where they have the kitchen as well, and the bathroom is just along there. So yeah, lots of beer here, some lagering tanks there, here at Mikkeller in London. Pretty cool actually. So all the fermentation takes place down the stairs, there you are. Alright guys, so yeah, just a little closer look at some of these bits of artwork that they have around the brewery. This is kind of cool. As you can see, these things along here, you're getting the nice reflections of the light. Some plants as well, it's good for the environment. But yeah, I did think these were quite cool. There's Peter, Pale and Mary, a brew kit, him chewing on some wheat because it's a Weizen. And then here, over here, you can see these paintings as well, which are, well, paintings I say, drawings, which are quite nice. So yeah, that's your Mikkeller artwork here in Mikkeller, London. Alright guys, well, our 5th and final tasting then here at Mikkeller Brewpub, London, and we're outside for this last one. And Harry, what style are we having? Stout. So, yeah, the stout that they had on tap apparently ran out, so they went and got us a can, which is pretty cool because this is one of the very few beers that Mikkeller Brewpub London have done that has been canned. So this one is simply called Imperial Stout, and it's brewed in collaboration with North Brewing Company, who are from Leeds. So yeah, as you can see, it is literally just called, oh, you're going to smash the glass there, Imperial Stout. Oh, it's not even focusing. Nah. But yeah, this should be pretty nice. 440ml can. We've got these very nice glasses as well to have a look at. So yeah, do you want to pour or will I pour?
Yeah, I'll pour.
Harry the brewer is going to pour for us. So yeah, this one, I think, does it contain anything special? Wheat, oats, coffee? Yeah. So it might be a coffee Imperial.
Cinnamon, cacao, coffee, hops, yeast and vanilla.
Oh, this should be quite nice then actually. So it's an adjunct stats. Yeah. So yeah, 12.5% ABV. This will be
Session ale.
It's a Harry Meadows Session Ale, our second Harry Meadows Session Ale of the day.
Yeah, I tend to prefer stouts.
First stats, Session Ales.
Yeah, they're just more sessional than in like a triple IPA.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah. We're hearing all the noises. All the noises in this, now that we're outside. Yeah, so there's a woman sitting outside what looks like an old Venetian church playing a flute. There's lots of people walking past wondering what the fuck we're doing. Yeah, it was quite nice. Yeah.
Great, nice.
Great, nice. So yeah, beer is poured, as we said. This one with barley, oats, wheat, cinnamon, cocoa, coffee, hops, yeast, and vanilla. Yeah. So lots of things, and then it's got Gerard Butler in Mikkeller form. This is Sparta on the front. So yeah, Harry's got a nice head on his. Do you want to show yours?
Yep. Well,
so as you can see, lovely dark ebony rosewood colour, nice kind of yeah, medium to dark tan head on this one, fading away quite fast though, as you'd expect from a 12.5%er. Yeah, not so much in the way of visible carbonation, just very, very small bubbles. Yeah, pretty much what you'd expect from an Imperial Stout. So, aroma? Let's do this.
Perfect glass for a flavour as well.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Coffee beans straight away.
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely love coffee beans as an adjunct into beer because they just, you know, they can add as much diversity as hops. Because, you know, coffee can be from different places, so you've got different soil and water profiles, and it's all about the mazel as well, the metres above sea level at which it's grown. The higher you grow it, the more fruity and aromatic things.
You definitely get that vanilla as well on the back end.
Oh yeah, yeah.
whacking around. There's a bit of that spicy kind of cinnamon notes in there too.
Oh yeah, definitely. The vanilla and the cinnamon comes out in this really nice, bit of a sort of tobacco-y backbone as well.
I said the other day on that, where we were, must be a giant, where I said the Cascara.
Oh
You get that kind of cherry note, a little bit of a cherry, but it's, I reckon it's from coffee.
Yeah, I mean the coffee. I think we should focus on the coffee bean a little bit, because I always do this with the coffee stouts. I mean, for me, the coffee bean you're getting out of this, not too roasty, not too earthy, very aromatic though, and definitely it has some of these kind of figgy, sort of raisiny, like red fruity kind of notes to it. Absolutely.
A red coffee notes in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's quite a fruity coffee for sure. Yeah, very fruity coffee, very aromatic, soft little bit of air. I'm going to sneeze now. Sneeze about 10 times.
He sneezes all the time.
Yeah, thing is guys, when I sneeze once, I sneeze about 10 times, so it's going to happen again. Just wait for it.
She's fucking heavy.
He's throwing it in England. So, yeah, I do get that. There's a little bit of a chocolatey note to this one, but not a lot. Big, highly caramelized brown sugar, like treacle molasses sort of thing. Yeah.
Spiciness as well.
Yeah, somebody over there's not happy, little newborn I think. Somebody's not happy because they don't have stat. Says some stat, man. But yeah, anything else you would say about the Maltese? The only other thing I'd add is it maybe has a wee bit of like a chocolate muffiny, chocolate brownie type vibe the more you smell of it. Hoppy wise, not too much to report, a bit of wet grass.
No, there's definitely obviously plenty present, but it's hard to really notice it.
It's not barrel aged, is it?
No, I thought it might be.
Yeah. It's brewed as well. It says on the back of the can, we should have pointed this out, it's brewed to celebrate North Brewing Company's 5th birthday. So we forgot to say that earlier. But yeah, you can maybe see the symbol. The camera doesn't want to focus when it's not on our faces, but now. Nah, he's not doing it. He's not doing it. So yeah, I was trying to show you the Mikkeller Brewpub London symbol, but it doesn't want to do it. Fruity wise, we've kind of covered that with the coffee, like a little bit of
red currant,
fig,
figgy, raisins, plums, coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee, not fruit.
Yeah, toffee, not fruit, but anything else. Yeah, I think that's everything we need to say, isn't it? I think we should taste this one now. So yeah, this one's simply called Imperial Stout, brewed for the 5th birthday of North Brewing Company in collaboration with Mikkeller Brewpub here in Exmouth Market in London. So yeah, one of the very few beers that they've had that's been canned apparently. So let's do this.
Cheers.
Our final tasting. Sláinte, skål.
Really,
That's nice. And that is good.
the vanilla gives it a little bit of a lift right at the back end of it, but that cinnamon really does come in just afterward with a little kick of spice.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's good.
It's interesting. It's very silky. First impression I have is it's very silky.
Yeah.
But it has a good balance between being bitter, sort of silky and sweet, and quite dry.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. This. I'm always a bit kind of about cinnamon in stouts, but it doesn't take too much of a lead here.
See, I love cinnamon in stout. I love chili stouts as well. It took me a while because I never used to enjoy them, but after having one or two really good ones, especially like a Westbrook one that Ray brought to a bottle share one time. I remember I didn't enjoy it when I first had it, but then I came back here, to London, I had it in a bottle share, and I was like, no, completely converted, loved chili stouts after that. So yeah, this it just kind of gives you sweetness, dark chocolate, a little bit of milk chocolate as well. Coffee comes in with sort of fruity notes, but they don't really dominate like they do the nose. They don't really dominate the kind of tasting.
Yeah.
And then you get a light sweetness, and then I want to say maybe a little bit of smokiness, and then vanilla gives you lovely creaminess as well. And
Yeah, I mean, it's the first impression I have of the helicopter. The helicopter. But anyway, no, I mean, for me, it's quite. It actually has quite a cakey backbone. There's a little bit of that muffiny, chocolate brownie sort of thing. Middle third of the palate, a bit of woodiness. You get the vanilla, you get the cinnamon a bit further forward too. But I think further back you start to get the coffee bean, and you get that sort of fibrousy thing from the coffee bean. The coffee bean isn't anywhere near as dominant, I think, as the aroma would have you believe. Coffee bean starts to take a bit of black seed, but certainly still aromatic. A wee bit more earthiness. Also some red fruity notes. Yeah, I think there's a wee bit of chocolate, you know, a 70-80% cocoa chocolate for sure toward the back of the palate. I don't get much of brown sugar out of this.
I think it's straight up done with malt, double mash on it, and triple mash maybe, triple mash together ABV.
I think it feels a bit thin for triple mash, double mash I can see. Yeah.
Yeah, double mash, 12.5%.
Yeah, double mash. Yeah, you get a bit of a tobacco-y note the further into the aftertaste you go. You start to get a bit of the roasty, toasty black malt into the aftertaste as well. Anything else?
Kind of touching a little chocolatey smoke, a little bit of a smokiness as well, but yeah, kind of touching it really.
Yeah, I think with the I think that's it with the malty side. On the hoppy side of things for me, there is a good bit of earthiness in the back corners of the palate. As you come further forward, it smoothens out a wee bit. Then round the front curve of the palate, there's maybe a little bit of wet grassiness, but yeah, not a lot. Front third of the palate then, fruity kind of side of things. I think base of that front third of the palate, like sweet chocolate brownie.
Yeah.
And then when you take it in, cakey, muffiny. When you take it in, it has definitely a little bit of that kind of blackberry, blackcurranty sort of thing. It's not as sharp and raisiny as you got the impression from the aroma for sure. So yeah, more blackberry, blackcurranty rather.
Yeah.
Figgy as well.
A little bit of a spice, but I think that kind of it just starts right at the start, and then I think we obviously know that's more from the cinnamon. It starts there.
Yeah, no, I mean behind the fruity notes you get that little bit of a cakey bump almost, and yeah, a bit of cinnamon, a bit of vanilla. It's a nice beer actually. It is nice, but there's quite a lot of layers to this, and it takes quite a wee bit of time to dissect everything that's going on. Yeah, is there anything else to say about the fruity side of it?
I think so.
No, I think that's that. Mouthfeel, definitely full-bodied. Not the thickest of stouts I've had right enough.
No, it is fairly thick, but it's not complete glue. It's not like I think Jake's Vault City always jumps to mind. If you saw his Vault City review that he did, where he almost not to pour it from the bottle.
Oh yeah.
This is nice and thick and creamy, and yeah, it's decent size. Yeah, decent.
Exactly, yeah. IBU wise, I think this is maybe 60-ish, something like that.
Yeah,
Bit from the
go
coffee.
60 to 70 on it, because it's obviously picking the kind of sweetness of the malts as well.
Yeah, I mean you're getting some IBU from the malt, obviously a little bit from the hop, the coffee bean, yeah, all of that's going on. Big kind of thick, silky stout I would say. A little bit of fruity sweetness, malt base is well balanced, and spiciness, smoothness, a bit of sweetness. Yeah, just a very nice beer, this one. I think this is a nice way to round off our time here.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was the the North Brewing Mikkeller London collaboration, simply called Imperial Stout, 12.5% ABV, a stout with barley malt, oat malt, wheat, cinnamon, cocoa, coffee and vanilla added into the brew. So yeah, there you go. I'll give you my final thoughts, or we'll give you our final thoughts in just a second, but that is our last beer tasting. Catch you guys in just a moment. Cheers. Alright guys, well that is our time over then here at Mikkeller Brewpub in Exmouth in London. So yeah, it was quite a nice couple of hours that we had here. We tried the burgers, we tried a few different beers, all of which were good quality, And yeah, a wee bit pricey because it's London, but I think we both had quite a nice time here actually. So yeah, I would recommend that you come and check this place out. It's been going a couple of years. We actually came here because all the English breweries were closed. So yeah, that was the main reason that we came to Mikkeller, but we enjoyed our time here, and I would recommend that you come and check it out if you find yourself in London. So catch you guys in another out and about video soon, and thank you to Ari for joining us. Yeah. And here's the bike guy who thinks that the earth is flat. He's got a sign on the front of his bike that says the earth is flat, which we all know it is. It is really flat. We're all living a lie in the Matrix. But yeah, that was our time here at Mikkeller Brewpub in Exmouth Market in London. Slanger just now.